Hi there, Michelle here, and welcome back to my channel. And today's video is another Monday vlog where I will be going over everything I did last week, things I want to do this week, and upcoming projects. If you are new to my channel and you like crocheting, knitting, yarn, thrifting, 80s, this vibe, then why not hit the subscribe button? If you subscribe to my channel, then you will be up to date with all of my latest videos and projects. Where do I start? First off, in my last vlog, I was like, I'm gonna start my newest project last week. The Stranger Things blanket. Did that happen? It did not. It did not happen. Mainly because I spent the entirety of last week working on a granny square tote bag. Did the granny square tote bag turn out amazing? Yes. Did Stephanie from Central Pearl, who I made it for, love it? Absolutely. Did the squares take much longer than I expected? They absolutely did. Let's talk a little bit about last week's project. Last week I did this crochet bag, which, funny enough, may or may not be turned into a pillow. When I made the bag, I didn't think that the squares were going to be as big as they are. If you watch that vlog, then you know that I was kind of going back and forth with how many squares I want to make for the project. It was either going to be 4 squares on the front, 4 squares on the back, or 9 squares on the front, 9 squares on the back, because I wanted it to be a square tote bag. The squares got a little away from me. They got a little too big. So when I did drop it off to Stephanie at Central Pearl, I told her, I'm like, listen, if you want to make this into a pillow, go ahead. It could be a pillow, it could be a tote bag, whatever you want to do with it. And she said that she actually had the perfect size pillow for it. She's going to actually use it as a display model in her store because she sells the Granny Square card decks, which is where I got them from. And so she's going to display it there. And to display a bag, I guess that's kind of hard to, like, where are you going to put that, right? And because it's such a big bag, it kind of flops over. So she took the bag home with her and she put a pillow in it, the perfect size for a pillow. I have a photo right here. She sent me this and she's like, look, it fits perfectly. I also think she said she's going to leave the handles out so it looks like a tote bag pillowcase. So people can get ideas of, oh, I can make this a pillow, I can make this a tote bag, however you want. I'm really glad that she did decide to do a pillow, although I had to still make the handles. And I was stressing out about the handles Thursday night, I stayed up till almost 11 o'clock working on the handles because I made a mistake and had to take them apart and then redo them. And then Friday morning, before I gave Stephanie the bag, I also had to finish the handles and weave in all the ends and all that fun stuff. So this also gives her options, right? So she could display it as a bag if she wants, and she can display it as a pillow. It's very versatile. I'm happy with that. I do want to talk a little bit more about these card decks, okay? Particularly one. Now I know I did give a review about these in the video, but after doing the video and kind of thinking about it, I still have a few more thoughts. This came in one of the boxes. There is actually, at this very moment, 9 different boxes that you can get. The 4 boxes here, so the ones that I have, the granny square boxes, we have the original one, we have the flower one, we have the one that says stitches, and for some reason I kept saying stripes in the video that I did. I think it's because the ones that I did were like stripes. Like everything I did was like a row, and for some reason I thought it was stripes. It's stitches. I was also calling it solids at one point. I knew it started with an S, but it's stitches. And then the newest one is the bright and bold granny square deck. It has some of the best designs, but the way that they were written, not my favorite. Also, they have all of these as well. The Artist's Color Mixing Card Deck for watercolor. There's another crochet one called the Mini Amigurumi Animals Crochet Stitch Card Deck by Bella Coco. Then we have 2 embroidery ones. One is the Essential Embroidery Stitches, and the other one is RSN Stitch Bank Embroidery Stitches Card Deck. There is a lot of card decks that you can get. These 3 here, the original ones that the first 3 that I got, are all made by the same designer. You can clearly see they're all made by the same person just because of the design of the packaging, which means every pattern is also the same inside. This one here is made by somebody else. How do I put this? The patterns are very pretty, but the technical instructions and construction of the squares, not my favorite. These are granny squares. I looked them up and Google gave me like 10 different patterns of this exact same one. I think these cards are more for like the novelty to actually physically own them. It's not like I'm handing these out free to people. What I did notice, and it's this one right here, okay? Now I did talk about this one in the video. Looks like this. and this one is called the Baltic Sea. I'm looking at these stitches and they all look like they are, I believe, what are they, the popcorn stitch? I believe, yeah. These are all the popcorn stitch. But on the actual label here, these here at the bottom and on the side, you see how they have a little closed section there and the rest have like a little open section? Those are technically two different stitches. This stitch here is considered, I think it's a bobble. I think that's the bobble stitch or the puff stitch. I get really confused between the two, but they're kind of the same. And then this one here is a popcorn stitch. What I didn't understand about this pattern is the middle is popcorn. The two stitches up here are popcorn. These ones, we're just gonna call them the puff stitch because I can't remember the other term for them. And then everything else is a popcorn stitch. I don't understand. Now, what would make sense is if these two at the top were also the puff stitch with the other ones in the same row, but they're not. And so that's kind of confusing. Now, what I noticed when I was packing up my cards, I looked at this. Didn't I do this? But I don't remember it being this colorful. It is literally the same square. This is from the original Granny Square card deck. They are almost identical. There are a few things that are a little different. One of them being, in here, they're all popcorn stitches. At the top, there are a few things that are a little different. I wish I would have done this one. This one actually has better instructions. It also is color coordinated, because another thing that really bothered me about these squares is, look at this one. It goes from a gray to a blue, and they're both like the same type of color, and I betcha if I put this in black and white, it probably would be exactly the same. This one here, the colors on here match the colors on the graph in the back. Did this person do those two stitches up here and then do these ones different so it would be different enough from this version? That's what I'm kind of thinking in my head. I don't know. This could have been a typo because it doesn't make any sense. But also, maybe they wanted the square to be slightly different than this. I don't know. That's just my little rant on these granny squares. Also, someone did comment that I should use stickers to put on the cards, and then that way I know which box set they came out of. So that is what I did last week when I was done working on the project. I reorganized all of the squares into their proper boxes, and then I did some color coding stickers. So anything that was a flower one, I put a red sticker on. Now, another thing that I do want to mention about this one here is because it is made by a different designer, the size of the squares, completely different. How I found that out is I think I did maybe 3 or 4 squares from these decks here, and then I went to go do this one with the same 5mm hook with the same yarn that I was using, and the square was so big and I hadn't even finished it yet. So I had to take it apart and redo it with a 4mm crochet hook. And even with that, the squares were a little big. There's one square in here, it's the heart square. I really liked it. I spent a lot of time working on that one, and that one was just too big for the bag. All the squares were maybe like this. This one was like that. And there was just no way that it would fit properly when I had to attach them all. I did give it to Stephanie though, so she can have it as a display on the counter, by the boxes, just to kind of show it, because I did put a lot of work in it and I weaved in those ends. I will be linking the decks in the description below if any of y'all are interested in them. A good beginner one is probably the original one here, only because it does give you a little bit of everything. But in the video, I did say that the flower ones, this one is my favorite one, but it is just flowers. And then again, this one here is just stitches. And then the newest one is a little bit of everything as well. I think my best advice is if you're going to mix and match these granny squares, these boxes here, you definitely can mix and match all 3 of them together and they'll all be the same size. However, if you're going to use these ones, I would say just stick to making these ones. And then you are not going to run into the same problem that I had, because even though, yes, I went down a hook size when I was attaching a few of them together, these ones were just slightly bigger than the rest of them. Not to say these aren't bad cards. These have a lot of really, really fun cards in them. It's just I wish the charts were a little bit better and a little bit more direction. Yeah, I talk a lot more about this in the video that I made these, so if you're interested in these cards and you want to know more about them, definitely check out that video. Also, last week, me and my sister ended up going to the last 2 yarn stores for the yarn crawl this year. I have a little haul. We only went to 2 stores and I didn't see any yarn that I needed, so I didn't get any yarn, but I think I picked up some cute stuff. From the first store, which was Heaven is Handmade, I ended up picking up this. Mine did not come with a little tag. I can't remember who made this. I'll put a little image of the person's shop. It is Gremlins. It is Gizmo. So cute. I just love him so much. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies because it takes place around Christmas, so it's technically a Christmas movie, okay? It was between this one and a Rainbow Bright one. Of course, I had to go with Gizmo. And I think I'm going to use this for crochet hooks or something. Maybe the crochet hooks that I'm not currently using, I can store them in here. It is the perfect size for them. With the Heaven is Handmade, I got a discount on this and I got a free sample of wool wash, I believe it is. It is called Pure Clean Jasmine Cherry Blossom. So this was a free little gift. This is for when you need to clean your garments because obviously you're not going to be putting a crochet or knitted item in your washing machine unless you're felting it. If you're not felting it, you don't want to be putting it in there. You can buy like some wool wash for it, which is great. Even got like this little stitch marker and it's the back side of a sheep. Oh, and it's a little punch. So if I keep this in my wallet and anytime I go there, it's in Sarnia, so I don't know how many times I will go there because it's 3 hours away from me, you get a little punch. So that's kind of neat. And I love the little bag it came in. Sometimes I'll put my yarn scraps in it. So that was from Heaven is Handmade. And then the other store we went to, Country Yarns. Got this. It is a jumbo crochet hook in the size 25 millimeter. That is the biggest crochet hook I've ever had. And it is by Knitters Pride. It was only like $12.40, which isn't too bad for a crochet hook, even especially one like this size. I thought that if I ever want to do one of those really chunky blankets with that like really chunky yarn, this would be the perfect crochet hook for it. Wanted to buy something from each store to like, you know, support their shops and stuff like that. Most of the shops you had to buy something in order to get a stamp. So look at this big crochet hook. This is such a nice crochet hook too. And it's wood, it's not plastic. I really want to do a project with this now. Even though it is a little inline, it's fine. I find that inline hooks, the bigger the size, I'm okay with, but it's with the little inline hooks that I'm just not a big fan of. And then she did have a lot of really cute buttons, and I honestly regret not buying the other size too. So I ended up buying these buttons. There's like little flowers on the buttons, and these were like, I think $1.20, $1.50 each. I mean, for adorable, cute buttons like that, yes. I also got 7. Okay, remember that one time I made that flower garden cardigan and I thought I only needed 6 buttons and it turns out I needed 7? Because sometimes I like to have that extra button up here, but there was ones that were a little bit smaller than it. Personally, I like the bigger button. I like a good button on my crochet pieces. I'm also making a red cardigan, which that's the whole thing. Last year, I had this whole plan that I was going to crochet myself a cardigan that looked knit, but it was crochet. And then when I started doing it, I literally maybe got this much and I realized it was like back loop only slip stitches. And I'm like, I'd rather knit it. I would rather knit it than do that. Yeah, I'm picking knitting over crocheting for that. So I did buy a knitting pattern. I believe it is by Petite Knit. It is a very cute cardigan, which means I'm going to have to do purls and I can't do it in the round. I do have the yarn for it and I'm kind of thinking those buttons might be the perfect buttons for that cardigan. So we're gonna have to see. The yarn crawl is over. I mean, I had a fun time. We went to some really good stores. I believe every store except for one I had never been to. So it was really nice meeting everybody and going to a bunch of these new stores. I hope there is another yarn crawl next year. I have all my stamps, so all I have to do is take a photo of this and send an email to the email it tells me to, and then I can be entered into some contests. But what I didn't know is you didn't actually have to do all of them. If you do all of them, then you get like 3 bonus entries. All of them are very nice. It's just I didn't have to go to all of them. The yarn crawl does end on June the 30th, so I have to send this in. Luckily, it's just a photo. I don't actually have to hand the passport in. Also, the one thing I do want to point out is that I'm 95% sure that this is AI art. Why are we using AI art for yarn is all I can say, because some of the balls are not perfectly circle. And I did run this through an AI detection thing, whatever, on Google, and it said like 98% positive that this is AI. And I was kind of upset because they did have tote bags for like the yarn crawl, and it'd be so cool to have a tote bag that said yarn crawl on it. I'm like 95% sure it was AI. And if it's not AI, it looks very AI, and I just was not going to be having a tote bag that had AI art on it. So that's some of my feedback. I really wanted to start another project last week, but it is official. It is happening. I am starting the project that I keep going on about for months, or a month. I really don't know when I came up with this idea, maybe a month ago. Today. It is happening today. And that project is my Stranger Things map of Hawkins. It is going to be a blanket. I've decided on it. I have the yarn for it. Now, I'm not really going to get into it too much today because I talked a lot about this in my last Monday vlog, and I really don't want to keep talking about the same things over and over again, even though I could. I don't want to bore y'all. But I did buy the yarn for it. I am very excited to start this project. Like, I don't even think you understand how much I am excited to start this Stranger Things project. The last time I did a Stranger Things project was probably December, before the end of the show. This is my first Stranger Things project post season 5. Do I have thoughts on season 5? Yes. Am I kind of happy how it ended? Also, yes. Okay, I got mixed emotions about season 5. Mainly because season 4 was so good. Even if season 5 was really good, I don't think it would have been able to beat season 4. Season 4 was so good. Now, of course, season 1 and season 2 are my favorite and will top season 4 every single time. But season 4 was so good that I just don't think season 5 even had a chance. Okay, that's just my notes. On July the 15th, 2026, Stranger Things will be turning 10 years old. I can't believe that. That is crazy to me. I feel like it was just yesterday that I started watching the show, and I still remember the first time I started watching the show. I've been obsessed with it ever since, but like a healthy obsession. I wouldn't say I'm crazy. I don't go stalking the actors, okay? I don't even think I follow any of the actors on social media. Maybe like 1 or 2. I follow like the Stranger Things account. I don't even think I follow any of the actors because it's not about the actors. Winona Ryder, love her, okay? She's like one of my favorite actresses. But I just love the vibe, and I love the storytelling, and I love the story, and you know, I love the 80s. So watching this show, even though I only lived a month and a half in the 80s, is just so nostalgic to me. It's just the vibe of Stranger Things, and like the set design, and the wardrobe, and oh my goodness, the music, so good. It's funny, because either I am listening to bands that I listened to in high school, so like Fall Out Boy, obviously. Wearing a Fall Out Boy t-shirt right now, My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco, Billy Talent, all those kind of bands. Or I'm listening to bands from the 80s. I always find it funny, like if I wear like a band t-shirt out, I'm so afraid that someone's gonna be like, well, name 3 bands. Listen, I don't even know the songs of Fall Out Boy. Do you know how long the song titles were in like 2006? And I would listen to on my iPod, I would only see like maybe the first 3 words, but there would be 10 words in the title. It would be a full-on sentence. From this one, this is Fall Out Boy from Under the Cork Tree album, the very first song. Our lawyer made us change the name of this song so we wouldn't get sued. That is such a long title, okay? Do you think I could remember that? What I would see on my iPod Nano would be Our Lawyer Made, and then ... And then you'd have to wait. The rest of the name would eventually come back up, right? Another song from this album. I slept with someone in Fall Out Boy, and all I got was this stupid song written about me. What type of title is that? Okay, do you think I can remember that? My Chemical Romance. Honey, this mirror isn't big enough for the 2 of us. That's such a long title. And then eventually when they got into the Black Parade, much smaller titles. You know what I'm just realizing right now? It has been 20 years since I first listened to Panic at the Disco. It was the I Write Sins Not Tragedy. I remember listening to it in my friend's minivan. Oh my goodness. Another really long title. London Beckoned Songs About Money Written by Machines. They're so long. I still can't remember it. I've been listening to Panic at the Disco for 20 years now. I still don't know their songs. Now you put the song on, I know every single lyric, but the title of it, not so much. Anyways, where was I going with this whole thing? Right, Stranger Things, and how the music in the show is so great. Although season 5 could have been a little bit better. I was a little disappointed with that. Anyways, because it is Stranger Things' 10th anniversary, I need to make something grand. I can't just make a little tiny tote bag. I can't just make a sweater. I need to make a blanket. I have made giant crochet projects in the past, such as the grandfather clock. Now, the original pattern was from a 1970s crochet book, but I did take the liberty to change a few things. Like, they didn't have the numbers on it, so I put the numbers on it. They didn't have those up top. Their pendulums, I think there was only 2. And obviously I changed the color and everything like that to make it look like this clock that was in season 4 of Stranger Things. Now that clock was done in double crochet. I am going to do mine in single crochet. It's going to take me a really long time, and I kind of need to get it done before the 15th or right after the 15th. I need to get it done around the time that Stranger Things turns 10 years old. I just need to look at the calendar. This week is the last week of June, so I have 1 week, 2, 3. Okay. The 15th is a Wednesday. So if I get this project done in 2 weeks, I can put it out the Saturday before the 15th. If that doesn't happen and I need an extra week, because technically this week I was supposed to be working on it and I didn't realize how long those squares were going to take. The project was amazing. I just didn't manage my time right because I'm like, they're granny squares. How long are they going to take me? Apparently the whole week. I will say, as of last night, I got the whole thing mapped out. It is in grid form. It is pixelated. It is in a grid, a graph, whatever you want to call it. It is ready to go. The only thing that I got to do before I can start this project is film my intro and find the yarn for the project. Again, I really wanted to make a map of Hawkins because I wanted a project that incorporated everything from the show. And obviously, making a map of the town does that. So I did have to buy yarn for that, and I ended up getting the Lions brand Pound of Love. I love it. I did get 2 of them. I don't know if I'm gonna need 2. I might need 2. These are really big, and I never know how many I need. Either I have enough or I don't have enough. So I bought 2. I went to Michael's last week, and I think I had a 35% off coupon, a 30% off coupon, and $5 in points. I don't know, they have like a new points reward system, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just use it. So I did get a discount on the yarn, which is great. I'm going to be using this yarn, and it is in the color Winter Green. I want this blanket to look like those 1990s car mats that you would have, like your little cars, and you can, like, you know, play like town in, you could just drive around and stuff. I didn't have one of those as a kid. I usually just used my driveway because we have a stone driveway, and so I would just like clear paths of the stone and make my own little town. And I just remember one time doing it. We were at the bottom of the driveway, and we made like, me and my sister made like a very intricate town, and they're like, okay, well, we got to move it up the driveway. How far? And then we would just move it up, but then we started getting lazy, and it was just like one lane up the driveway, like it was like the city and then like a country road. Anyways, I want to crochet myself a blanket that looks like the 90s car mats. I just need to get yarn from my yarn stash because this is another stash busting project. I just knew that I did not have this green. Even if I had a green like this, it would have not been enough for the background color because this is going to be the background color. And I don't buy a lot of grays for projects, and the grays that I did buy weren't what I needed. So I ended up getting this one too, and this is in the color Oxford Gray. I'm happy to say that the map is planned out and it is good to go, and I am going to start it today, and I'm so excited. I'm also going to be using medium worsted weight yarn to do this in a single crochet. That is my project for this week. This project is going to be my main focus. I'm not going to be thinking about anything else. I'm not going to be going anywhere. I am probably going to go for like my ice cap in the morning and then bunker down in my room for 2 weeks. No one's going to see me for 2 weeks because I got to get this done. I don't have to get it done. I really want to get it done, and I really want to focus on it, okay? This video is also going to be a 1-part video. I don't like separating videos. I don't want to do 2 videos. I want you to see the beginning, the middle, and the end all in one video. Also, my videos are getting a little bit longer, and y'all love that. The video that I put out today was 56 minutes long. The longest video I ever put out. That was the one about the granny square bag, mainly because there was a lot of good granny squares and there was a lot of tips that I wanted to talk about the granny squares. I wanted to show how I put them together. I wanted to show like the process of me making them. So that's why my videos are a little bit longer, but y'all love them. And yeah, like I don't mind editing the longer videos if y'all like watching them. So that's great. The video that I'm going to be probably putting out this Saturday coming up, I believe I'm going to be doing a everything I crocheted in the last 6 months. Well, crocheted and knitted, I can say that now because I do have a few knitted pieces. That gives me time to just kind of sit here, talk about the things, show them off, maybe do little try-ons of some of the stuff that I make, because a lot of times I'll make something and then I'll forget to wear it. You know, just a nice, simple video, hopefully giving anybody inspiration of maybe what their next project should be. And then that way I don't have to be making something for this week because I'll be making the blanket. Now, the week after that, if the blanket's done, it'll be the blanket video. If not, then I think I'm going to be doing some type of video in this camper. Do want to tidy it up a little bit more. Everything is in like organized piles and I have to go to my storage unit. That's what I had to do today. I knew I had to do something and I couldn't remember what it is. I have to go to my storage unit. My problem is I'm like, yes, I will go to the storage unit. I will go grab the things in the morning and then I'll be out getting my ice cabinet. Like, I forgot to get the stuff for the storage unit. Basically winter stuff and fall stuff that I'm not really going to be needing for another 2 months. Oh my goodness. In 2 months, it will be September. I'm so excited. I'm not a summer person and I don't know how many times I got to tell y'all I would pick winter over summer. You'd be like, you're crazy. Well, I can't wear any of the things I made in the summertime. I mean, sure, a few things, but I can't wear any of my sweaters. I can't wear any of my retro jackets and coats and all my vintage stuff and my vintage sweaters and the sweaters that I make. And I can't wear my fox cardigan. I was able to wear that a handful of times before it got too warm. And now it's just sitting in my room looking at me with the fox eyes. And I'm like, I know I can't wear you because it's too hot. But once that fall comes, I am ready. Also, I do have some really good fall projects. Knitted projects, by the way. I don't think I'm going to be making too many summer projects this year because I want to wear all these things in the fall time. I need to start making them now. There is one project that I keep talking about. I'll just mention it real quick because I've mentioned it in so many videos. I will be making the Tulsa tee in an acrylic yarn. It's right here. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the project after the blanket is done. I think I talked about that more last week and the week before, so I'm not going to talk about it again until it's time to work on it. What's going to happen is if I can't finish the blanket in 2 weeks, it is a crochet blanket. I don't know why I'm thinking I can do this in 2 weeks. Maybe, maybe not, but if it does take me an extra week, because it was supposed to start this week and it didn't, I'm going to be making some crochet items for my camper. Somebody tagged me in, I believe it was an Instagram reel, but it was somebody who made crochet granny square. What is that called? It wasn't a curtain, but it was the thing, a valance. It's the thing that goes over your curtain. I have one like up there. It's this here, which I got from my friend Kathy. Her mom actually crocheted that. She filet crocheted that. Look at the detail. That must have taken forever and such a small little hook. So pretty. And then I also have the matching curtain there. Someone made a granny square version of this. I have this one window over there that still has the original thing on it, but it's so bulky and it's so clunky, and I kind of kept it there because it still has the blinds on it, and I left the blinds because sometimes the light will come from there and will like go right into my eye and blind me if it's like reflecting off a car or a piece of metal or whatever's over there. I like to keep it there, but it's kind of like broken, so I left the thing up top just to kind of hide it when it is up. However, I think I might get rid of that because I got rid of it everywhere else. I'll get rid of it and then I could put a crochet little thing up top. So I want to do that. I also want to redo my beaded curtain. This is the beaded curtain. I did this last year, but as you can see, it's kind of like not great. I actually used yarn. You should not have probably used yarn. It really stretched. So the beads actually have the same amount on each one, but I don't know. They just kind of fell down. I did move it. It used to be in the doorway of like my yarn storage, but now it's here and I like it so much better. So when I film, like you can't see into the hallway. However, I did find more of these beads. I want to take all of them off, separate them all out, get better yarn for that or get better string for that, actual string that's made for beaded curtains, and completely redo them. I love the idea of walking through a beaded curtain, especially if you can't see through it. That'd be so cool. What I might do is maybe in the morning or in the early afternoon, I'll come in here, I'll work on the beads because I have to work in here. I need the floor space. Remember last year I worked on it and I had a needle and I stepped on it. It triggers me a little bit. I'm like, oh, I don't know. But this time I will get a proper needle that's not too sharp. And of course I have like my DVD player. I have a TV in here. And I mentioned in my last video that I want to collect DVDs of movies and maybe even TV shows that I have never seen before. And then that way I can watch them while I work. Another project that I guess I kind of have to think about sooner than later is a project for Summerween. Now, I love Gravity Falls, and that's where I first heard of Summerween. It might have originated there. I'm not 100% sure. It's basically Halloween, but in the summertime, and you know how much I love Halloween and the fall. If I can bring any of that fall stuff into summer, it's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. It's probably going to be another tote bag because the last 2 years I also did tote bags. So the last 2 Summerween projects I did are these here. This was the first one I did. It is a jack-o'-melon. I really don't think I can top this. Okay, this is amazing. Love how it looks. And then last year I did a skeleton sitting on a pool floaty in a pool. Oh my, every single time I put this up, it changes everything on the screen to be more red, or to be like, it's more like a weird purple color. Never had any trouble with any other bags, but it's this certain blue that just changes the color of it. I think it's because I have it on auto because it's just easier for me. Anyways, these patterns are both on my Patreon. If any of y'all are interested in doing them, they are grids and you can do them in any yarn, color, whatever you want to do. I do have all of my patterns on my Patreon. This year, I really don't know what I'm gonna do, because even last year I struggled with this one. I don't want to keep showing it because I don't want it to change the color of the screen. I kind of struggled because I wasn't too sure what I was going to make, because this one was just so good. I don't know. I also have to fix it. This is when I was still hand sewing my bags, and I use this one a lot, so it kind of came off a little bit. It's fine. Like, I will fix that. I had a few ideas. My one idea was making like a haunted house sand castle. So it's the shape of a haunted house, but it's sand color on a beach kind of thing. So I was kind of thinking about that. And like, instead of like a moon behind it, it would be a sun behind it. Cause I actually made this one here, my actual haunted house one, for Halloween. And I put like little ghosts and I put a moon behind it. I could just take that and make it a sandcastle. That could be kind of fun. I don't really want to make anything that is, say, like a summer top but Halloween colors. Like, I want to make some type of tapestry project that's fun, right? So that's kind of like an idea I have. I might actually go with that idea. So that might be the idea I go with. But yeah, I got to think about Summerween. Probably should have had that going on. But I was so busy with Stranger Things and that project that I wasn't thinking of anything else that I had to do this summer. I think this is where I'm going to end the vlog. Honestly, nothing really happened that much last week. I talked a lot about future projects last week, so I didn't really want to re-talk about them too much in this vlog. That is it for this Monday vlog. In the comments below, please let me know what y'all are working on this week. I always love reading your comments and hearing the projects that y'all are working on. I think that does it for this video, so y'all have a good day now.